Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're down to the end. Episode 5. Let's go ahead and review it. I'm sad. We only have one more episode left, which is next week, which I'm so hyped for. I'm so excited. This is the end game of this show, and I've really enjoyed this show. I just want to put that out there. It's been a lot of fun. Even though I didn't like episode 3, I didn't love it per se. This show has really reeled me back in. Last week's episode I said was the best episode of the series, and I still believe that full-heartedly, but this episode I really enjoyed. And we're going to get into the things that I really liked about this episode and why it worked for me. Starting off with what happens in this episode, obviously the aftermath of where the last episode left off. John Walker as Captain America fights Sam and Bucky, and they take the shield back. They end up getting it back. They win in an awesome choreographed fight that was really cool to watch. It was a spectacle, and I loved every single second of it. So them getting the shield back is really important because now it's basically who's going to put that mantle back on as Captain America. And there's only one answer for this, and that is Sam. Sam is worthy, just like Steve Rogers was worthy of carrying that mantle, and now Sam has a responsibility to uphold in doing what Steve kind of wanted him to do, because Steve gave Sam the shield for a reason. Then you see John Walker loses everything. He loses his status. The government discharges him from the military, and they don't give him any benefits. And you can see that he has really, truly become the villain. And it's a great story. I will say his character arc is very interesting because it's a tragic story. It's about this man who's been beaten down and worn down because of all of the violence and all of the things he had to see in his time on duty as a military operator. And having to take on this mantle of Captain America, where he was being rejected by everybody, was, I think, too much for him to bear, obviously. And the stress got to him, and then taking the serum on top of that just kind of created this villain. And it's one of those stories where you see yourself kind of play into becoming a villain over time, and that's what's so appealing to John Walker in this story. So it is tragic, but at the same time, does the guy deserve it? I mean, yeah, he did do some really horrific things as Captain America. But I'm very fascinated with what's going to happen to this character because he still believes that he is Captain America. You see Carly is in New York City. She is trying to stop the GRC from sending refugees back to their home countries and no longer allowing them to have the freedoms that they had before. And a lot of this episode really deals with Sam and Bucky's relationship. They become friends. Bucky helps Sam put together the pieces back home and fixing the boat, and really just try to kind of help build a foundation, a relationship of not just mutual understanding, but also of sincerity, also of being able to be familiar and be friendly towards one another, because these were both Steve's confidants and two of Steve's closest friends in life. And so having them kind of finally come together is really satisfying in this episode. There's a great moment where Bucky is flirting with Sam's sister, and it's hilarious because you can tell Sam is just not having it at all. And it makes for that really fun dialogue between the two characters that I just found to be really mesmerizing. I was just so glued to the screen, and I was hanging on to every single word because of the believability of these characters. And then you start seeing Sam train to become Captain America. He realizes that no one should put any limits on him. He does go back and talk to Isaiah. Isaiah says that nobody will ever respect or ever allow for a black man to be Captain America. And this episode really painted an image on what we're going through today with a lot of the trials that we see in life and the weights that are continually being pushed down onto some of the minorities, a part of this country and a part of this world. And having that moment for Sam and Isaiah was really important for the MCU moving forward. It doesn't matter who you are or what you may look like. It matters about your worth. That is what's important. And Sam realizes that Isaiah his words should not affect him and that he needs to go and train to be Captain America. And honestly, Sam is the perfect person to be Captain America. There's no other person that is good enough to be Captain America. Every time I look at Sam, he just resembles so much of what Steve Rogers was, what he symbolized to not just America, but to the world. And I think that that's really important moving forward in the MCU, and having a character like Sam's Captain America is going to be so interesting. And I'm so excited because man, oh man, is he going to look good donning the red, white, and blue. I'm just so pumped to see what he does as Captain America, and you know what the style of Captain America is going to be like. There's going to be some differences between the two characters because he's not Steve. And there's a moment where he tells Bucky, you know, it doesn't matter what Steve wants. Steve's not here anymore. It matters about what I want. It matters about what you want. And I'm just so excited for the finale episode of this series because honestly, this episode was just so much fun to watch. It was palpable with their relationship, the chemistry that was building between them, and the fact that we're getting some closure to one chapter and moving on to the next chapter in the MCU is really exciting because it's not just Sam becoming Captain America, but it's also Bucky becoming the White Wolf, becoming something else. And I think him being the White Wolf is going to help be kind of an anchor towards Sam's Captain America and that source of reliability that he needs moving forward. And I'm just so excited for that. This was an episode that we really needed. After last week's intense episode, I'm happy we got kind of a calm before the storm, you could say, because I really think that next week's episode is going to revamp so much. There's going to be so much revelation, and there's going to be a lot of action. This episode really reminded me and really kind of honed into the fact of the things that I love about the MCU. And my favorite MCU movie, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, I felt the vibes from that movie in this episode, and I'm all for it. I'm so excited about what's going to happen next week. And I don't want to go in with any expectations. I'm not going to have any theories, because if I learned anything from WandaVision, it's that I don't want to set myself up for disappointment, because that's what WandaVision did to me. So I'm just going to go in having a good time. I just want to see Sam's Captain America, Bucky's White Wolf fighting together, becoming something new and evolving in this process. And I want to see them just kick some butt. Like that's really what I want. That's what I want to see. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on this week's episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm sorry if my voice sounds really tired. I've been really tired lately. I haven't really gotten a lot of sleep. And when I do these videos, I like to do it like right off the cuff. So if I do sound tired or it's kind of weirdly edited, I do apologize. I'm trying to take out all the moments where I say a bunch of filler stuff or things that don't make sense. So I do apologize to all of you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for really just staying with me and watching my thoughts and my reactions to these Marvel properties. And I can't wait for next week's finale episode. It's gonna be a fun one. Guys, if you enjoy this content, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Also, if you're brand new, consider subscribing to the channel for more MCU, Star Wars, horror, independent, rankings, reviews, marathons, and much more coming soon to the channel. So you don't want to miss it. Hit that subscribe button. Also turn on the notification bell so that way you're notified every single time a new video comes out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.